Hey everyone. It feels like every time I blink, there's some new crazy tech thing happening.
It's moving fast.
Yeah, and that's what we're diving into today. We're talking Qubic.
Oh, yeah.
It's way more than just your average blockchain project.
For sure. Not just another blockchain, no.
They're talking about like a whole new way of doing things with decentralized tech and AI.
AI is a big part of it.
Huge, yeah. So we've been digging into their promotional materials,
Laying out their plans.
their vision for this network they want to build.
bold vision.
Super bold. It could change how we think about pretty much everything, blockchain, AI, you name it. So they're calling themselves a layer one network. Now, I know that sounds kind of jargony,
Techie, yeah.
but basically it means they're building their own foundation from the ground up, not just building on top of what's already out there.
Right. Starting fresh.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And they're really focused on fixing what they see as the big problems with blockchain today.
Stuff that makes you pull your hair out.
Seriously. Like, come on, those transaction fees, it's highway robbery.
Yeah. And waiting forever for confirmations.
Like, where did my money go?
Right. Is it lost in the void? And don't even get me started on the energy consumption.
Oh, it's
Whole cities could run on that.
for real. But they're coming in with solutions, which is really exciting.
Claiming they got answers, yeah.
One of their big ideas is this concept called useful proof of work, or UPOW.
Snappy acronym.
Gotta love those. So imagine this. Instead of all that computing power just going towards mining crypto,
Yeah. Which can feel a little pointless sometimes.
it actually does something useful, like contributes to training AI.
Now that's a cool concept.
I know, right?
Right.
They call this initiative AGARTH. So miners would be helping advance AI research while they mine.
A global brain trust, kinda.
It's a pretty wild idea. It's
Yeah.
like they're trying to create this whole new paradigm. They're not just a blockchain project, they're
Aiming for something bigger.
way bigger. And get this, they've actually set a goal of achieving artificial general intelligence, AGI, by 2027. It's like,
Really soon.
I know. It blew my mind when I first read that. Is that even possible?
Super aggressive timeline. No doubt about it. But their thinking is that a decentralized network
Yeah, with all that computational power.
and collaboration could be the key to making it happen. It's a fascinating approach, for sure.
It's like they're thinking on a whole other level.
Thinking big, yeah.
Okay, so one of the things they talk about a lot is how AI shouldn't be controlled by like a handful of giant tech companies.
Mhm.
Makes sense.
Right. They're advocating for a decentralized AI.
Which means,
Open, transparent, controlled by a community. Kind of like the open source movement.
more democratic in a way.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And honestly, I think that idea is going to resonate with a lot of people.
totally. People are getting more and more concerned about who's controlling these powerful technologies.
It's a valid concern.
So how do they actually plan on building this decentralized AI utopia?
They've got some really innovative architectural designs they're talking about. One of the big ones is this bare metal approach.
A bare metal.
Yeah, it sounds kind of intense.
A little bit.
But basically, imagine cutting out all the extra software layers that usually sit between a blockchain and the computer hardware it runs on. Qubic interacts directly with the hardware.
Cutting out the middleman.
Exactly. And that makes it super fast and efficient, they say.
Streamlined.
They have this system of ticks. Tiny, precise units of time.
Interesting.
Dictates how everything operates.
Gotcha.
And they claim this is what allows them to offer some pretty incredible features.
Like what?
Feeless transactions.
Wait, really? No fees at all?
And instant finality.
Okay, break those down for me.
So feeless transactions means you can send money, send data, whatever. No more pesky fees.
That's amazing.
And instant finality, that means transactions are confirmed in less than a second.
Wow.
Think about how that could revolutionize online payments. Voting even.
No more waiting around for confirmations. I love it. But how do they make money if there are no fees?
Mm-hmm.
And how do they make sure everyone plays by the rules if there's no central authority?
Well, they've got some very interesting solutions for that too. Smart contract IPOs.
Yeah.
A whole new way to incentivize developers.
Okay, I'm listening.
And a quorum consensus mechanism ensures everything stays decentralized.
Smart contract IPOs and the quorum? Let's unpack those a little bit.
Yeah, let's dive into that. So with these smart contract IPOs, it's a totally different way of raising money.
Different from like the usual ICO thing.
Yeah, instead of just selling tokens to raise funds, they're letting people buy shares of smart contracts.
Interesting.
Through auctions. So you could actually earn passive income just by owning a piece of the code.
Owning part of the network.
It's like investing in the infrastructure itself. Pretty cool, huh?
I like that. It's like a much more democratic way to distribute ownership.
And reward the developers.
Yep.
Exactly.
Okay, and what about this quorum thing?
So the quorum, it's basically their system for making sure all the decisions are made in a decentralized way.
Okay.
They've got this network of 676 specialized nodes. They call them computers.
Computers, okay.
And these computers, they basically act like the decision makers. For anything to happen on the network, the majority of these computers have to agree.
So it's like a checks and balances kind of thing.
Right. It's inspired by this concept called Byzantine fault tolerance.
Now, that sounds complicated.
It is a little bit, but the basic idea is that the network can keep running smoothly, even if some of the nodes go rogue or, fail for some reason.
So it's like a safety net to prevent anyone from taking control of the whole thing.
Exactly. It's pretty clever.
But how do they choose those 676 computers in the first place?
Well, that's where this whole community-driven aspect comes in.
Because they're really big on that, right? The whole community aspect.
Oh, yeah. They're all about giving power to the people.
Okay, so let's talk about that. Because we've established Qubic is like on a mission to decentralize pretty much everything. Blockchain, AI. They say taking the power away from the big tech companies is the key to unlocking AGI. But is that realistic?
It's a really ambitious goal. And they definitely have some valid points. Like, they argue that the traditional model of AI development, big corporations with their giant data centers,
Hoarding all the data.
proprietary algorithms, it's just too centralized, too limited.
Like they're trying to get to space on a tricycle?
Right. Exactly. Qubic, they want to do something totally different. Create a global effort. Massive collaboration. Harnessing the power of a whole network of people.
It's kind of like crowdsourcing AI development.
Yeah. Open sourcing it on a huge scale.
And that's where this useful proof of work comes in.
Right. Miners would be helping to push AI research forward while they're earning crypto.
Okay, I see the appeal. But honestly, 2027 still feels really soon for AGI. Is that even possible, even with this approach?
Well, it's a good question. A lot of people would say AGI is still decades away.
Yeah, a lot of experts are skeptical.
And even Qubic admits that it'll take some major breakthroughs. So yeah, it's a moonshot for sure.
What are some of the hurdles they might face?
I mean, AGI is just insanely complex. Think about it. We're talking about building something that can learn, reason, solve problems as well as a human being, or even better.
It's like trying to create a digital brain.
And that's the thing. Even with all the progress we've made with machine learning neural networks,
It's still early days.
we still don't really understand how our own brains work.
So even with this massive decentralized network, there's no guarantee Quibic's going to be able to figure it all out.
That's the thing with pushing boundaries. It's high risk, high reward. But even if they don't hit that 2027 target, their work could still lead to some really cool breakthroughs in AI.
That's true. They could still advance the field significantly.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the elephant in the room for a sec. Because AGI, it raises a lot of ethical questions.
Oh, yeah, for sure. We're talking about creating something potentially smarter than us. We need to think long and hard about the implications.
For our jobs, for how we make decisions.
For society as a whole.
It's kind of scary and exciting at the same time.
It is. And Qubic, they're bringing these questions into the spotlight because they're tying their tech directly to this goal of achieving AGI. They're making us confront these big, complex issues.
So it's not just about the tech, it's about what that tech could mean for humanity.
Exactly. And I think that's why it's so important to have these conversations, to explore all the different perspectives on AI, on decentralization.
Absolutely. So we've talked about the big picture, the vision, the potential risks. But let's get down to brass tacks. How does Qubic actually work? What's it like to use?
Well, we've talked about some of the features, the bare metal architecture, the quorum consensus, the whole feeless transactions thing, instant finality.
Yeah, but how does it all come together in practice? Is it easy to use?
Yeah.
Or is it just for, like, hardcore tech people?
Well, they're really pushing this idea that it's user-friendly, accessible. You don't need to be a blockchain expert to use Qubic.
That's good, because one of the things that's kept blockchain from being more widely adopted is that it can be pretty intimidating.
For sure, it's got that reputation.
But Qubic, they're trying to change that. Make it simple and intuitive for anyone.
Exactly. They want to break down those barriers.
So what can you actually do on the Qubic network? Give me some examples.
Okay, well, obviously sending and receiving transactions is a big one. Instantly, no fees.
Right, like we were saying earlier, that's huge. For payments, for anything involving transferring value online.
Exactly. They're also really promoting smart contracts, those self-executing agreements that can automate all kinds of stuff. So developers can build all kinds of cool decentralized applications on top of Qubic.
Decentralized applications, or dApps. Give me some examples of what those could look like.
Well, they've specifically mentioned things like decentralized exchanges for trading crypto without a central authority.
Okay, cool. What else?
Prediction markets, blockchain-based games.
Games where you own your in-game items. Right. That whole idea of like a true digital ownership.
Exactly. And they're saying Quibic's designed to handle tons of users, tons of transactions without slowing down. Really scalable.
So they're aiming to be the platform for the next wave of decentralized applications.
All powered by AI.
Yeah, it's ambitious.
Super ambitious. But that focus on community, on open source development, that could attract a lot of talented people to the project.
Yeah.
That's what they're hoping for anyway.
Makes sense. But there's still a lot we don't know. I mean, this is a relatively new project. It's hard to predict what's going to happen.
Totally. There's a lot of uncertainty.
Are there any red flags people should be aware of?
Well, the big one is always execution risk. Can they actually pull it off?
Can they build what they're promising? A network that's as fast, as secure, as scalable as they claim.
Right, that's the million-dollar question.
And what about competition? There are a ton of blockchain projects out there already.
So many. They need to convince developers to build on their platform. Convince users that it's the best option.
They need to stand out from the crowd.
Yeah, differentiate themselves. And then there's the whole regulatory landscape. It's like a moving target.
Governments are still trying to figure out what to do with all this crypto stuff. It's unpredictable.
For sure. So yeah, Quibic's got some hurdles to overcome.
But if they can do it, the potential is huge.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it.
It'll be fascinating to see how it all plays out.
I'm definitely going to be watching.
Me too, for sure. Okay, so we've talked about Quibic's vision, their technology, the potential, the risks. But there's one crucial piece we haven't explored yet. The community.
Ah, the community. The heart and soul of any decentralized project.
Exactly. Qubic really emphasizes being community-driven. But what does that actually look like in practice?
Right. How do things actually get done?
How can people get involved?
Well, we touched on the quorum earlier. Their system for making decisions in a decentralized way.
Right, those 676 computers.
Yeah.
The decision makers.
Yeah. But beyond the technical side of things, Qubic is also really focused on building this vibrant online community. Developers, enthusiasts, supporters.
How do these people hang out?
Oh, they're all over Discord, Telegram.
Have communities.
Very active. People sharing ideas, asking questions, helping each other out.
Sounds like a good place to go to get a sense of the project.
It is. You can really feel the energy there. And if you're more of a techie type, they've got their GitHub repository. All the code is open source.
So even if you're not a coder, you can still contribute.
Oh, absolutely. They're open to all kinds of contributions.
Whether it's writing documentation, translating stuff into different languages,
or just spreading the word, sharing the Qubic vision.
finding your own way to contribute.
Exactly. Find your niche and jump in.
Help build this decentralized future.
Powered by AI. That's the dream.
So they're not just building a network, they're building a movement.
I like that. Yeah, they're trying to build a movement, a community of people who believe in this vision.
That we can create a better world.
Using technology to empower people.
It's inspiring, the idea that anyone could contribute to something so big, so transformative.
It's a good reminder that we all have a role to play in shaping the future.
It's not predetermined. It's something we're actively building.
And that's what makes Qubic so interesting. It's not just about the tech, it's about the people.
The collective intelligence. The creativity of a global community.
Working together to build something amazing.
And maybe even achieve AGI along the way.
It's a journey with lots of possibilities, lots of challenges.
It'll be interesting to see where it goes.
For sure. Okay, so we've explored the potential, the risks, the community, but let's be real for a second.
Yeah, let's get down to it.
Is this all too good to be true?
Because they're making some big promises.
They are. Can they actually deliver on all this?
That's the question, right?
And there's no easy answer. There's always risk with new technology.
What are some red flags people should be looking out for?
Well, for one thing, Qubic is complex. There are a lot of moving parts. It's a lot to get your head around.
Even for people who are pretty tech savvy.
Yeah, it takes some effort to really understand.
So, do your research.
Really dig in before you make any decisions. And remember, they're not the only ones out there.
The blockchain space is super competitive.
So they need to prove they offer something special.
Something truly valuable that sets them apart. attract those developers, attract those users.
Because even if they build the most amazing network in the world, it won't matter if nobody uses it.
They need to get people on board, build that ecosystem.
Yeah, adoption is key.
So Qubic has their work cut out for them.
Definitely. But the potential is definitely there.
No doubt.
It's pushing the boundaries of what's possible, both with blockchain and AI. Even if they don't achieve everything they set out to do.
They're still making an impact.
Exactly. They're pushing the whole field forward.
It's a reminder that innovation often comes from taking risks, from challenging the way things are done, from dreaming big.
And who knows, maybe they will change the world.
Okay, so we've talked about the benefits, the risks, but let's bring it back to the listener.
Yeah, let's make it personal.
Why should you care about Qubic? What does all this mean for your life?
That's a question everyone has to answer for themselves.
But what are some things people should be thinking about?
Well, first of all, Qubic represents a potential shift in power when it comes to technology.
Moving away from big corporations.
Towards individuals and communities.
Giving people more control.
If Qubic succeeds, it could really change how we interact with technology.
Imagine a world where you have more control over your data.
Your money.
Your online identity.
Technology serving people, not the other way around.
That's a powerful vision. But what about the more immediate stuff? How could Qubic affect people's lives in the short term?
Well, think about the things we were talking about. Faster payments, cheaper payments, more efficient ways of doing business, new ways to have fun, new ways to connect.
Real practical applications.
Yeah, things that can make a real difference in your day-to-day life.
So it's not just about abstract ideas. There are real possibilities here.
And as the Qubic ecosystem grows, we're likely to see even more cool applications emerge.
So whether you're a developer, an investor, or just someone who's interested in the future.
Quabic's worth paying attention to.
Absolutely. It's a reminder that the future is being built right now.
And we can all be a part of it.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
Quabic's vision, their tech, the community, the potential impact. But there's one more thing I want to touch on before we wrap things up.
Okay, what's that?
It's this idea of personal responsibility, I guess. Like, what role do we want to play in shaping the future of technology?
Exactly. It's easy to just sit back and be a passive consumer. But Qubic is kind of a call to action in a way.
Yeah, it's like they're saying, hey, get involved. This is your future too. So let's say someone's listening to this and they're like, all right, I'm on board. Where do I go from here?
Yeah.
What are some resources, some ways people can get involved?
Well, like I said before, they have an amazing online community.
And where's the best place to start if you're brand new to all this?
I'd say definitely check out their Discord and Telegram groups. They're really active. And you'll find all kinds of people there. Developers, enthusiasts, people who are just curious about Qubic.
A good mix.
Yeah. You'll see people discussing ideas, asking questions, helping each other out. It's a great way to learn more about the project and get a feel for the community.
Cool. So what if you're more of a tech person?
If you like digging into the code, you can check out their GitHub repository. That's where all the magic happens.
Open source, right? So anyone can contribute.
Yep, they're big on collaboration.
So even if you're not a coding whiz, there are still ways to contribute to Qubic.
Absolutely. Maybe you're good at writing documentation or translating stuff into different languages.
Or just talking about Qubic with your friends, spreading the word.
Exactly. It's all about finding your niche, your way of contributing to this vision.
This vision of a more decentralized future, powered by AI.
It's exciting stuff. And who knows, maybe you'll be part of the team that helps make AGI a reality.
Wouldn't that be something? Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive into Qubic, what's the one big takeaway you want to leave our listeners with?
I think it's this. Qubic is not just another blockchain project. It's something bigger. It's a challenge to the status quo, a push to do things differently.
To build a future that's more equitable, more empowering.
Exactly. And whether they ultimately succeed or fail in achieving their goals, they're forcing us to ask some important questions about technology and its role in society.
To think about the kind of future we want to create.
And how we can use technology to make that future a reality. So to our listeners, I'd say this. Keep exploring, keep asking questions, keep that spark of curiosity alive.
Because the future is being built right now, and we all have a part to play in shaping it.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
And until next time, keep on pushing the boundaries.